Hey guys, welcome back to my channel, or welcome if you're new. If you don't know me, my name is Sam. I'm a licensed cosmetologist, and today I'm going to show you how to get this shiny, sleek, bouncy blowout at home using a round brush. So if that is something that you have been struggling with, I'm going to show you how you can make your hair look like you just left the salon at home by yourself. So you're going to need, obviously, your blow dryer. I highly recommend, if your blow dryer comes with a concentrator attachment, you definitely want to use that. That is going to help concentrate the air, so that way the hair's not blowing all over the place. You'll be able to get your blowout nice and sleek and smooth. Then of course you're going to need a round brush. Depending on the length and fullness of your hair is going to determine the size of the round brush that you want to use. Because I have shorter hair, I am using a smaller round brush. This one I want to say is like a 1.5 inch diameter. Then you're also going to need a clip. I like to just kind of section as I go, so one clip is fine, and then some kind of heat protectant spray. I'm using the Bounce Up spray by Lanza. My hair right now, you can see it is starting to air dry quite a bit, and it's naturally quite curly. I suggest letting your hair air dry to about 80%. You want it to feel pretty dry, but definitely still damp. You need that moisture in there to really smooth out the style. But if your hair is sopping wet, this is gonna take forever, and the longer that you have to be blow drying, the more heat you're gonna be applying to your hair and the more heat damage you're gonna cause in the long run. So if you're in a hurry and you can't wait for it to air dry, just give your hair a rough dry. Just kind of make sure you're pointing the blow dryer so that all the air is going down, so we're not creating extra frizz. And I like to hold the hair on the ends and just kind of like go through like that and just try to get as much of that excess moisture out first. And then I am going to spray my thermal spray all over, because if I go section by section, I'm probably going to forget. Then I'm going to section my hair. If your hair is very thick, you're going to want to take smaller sections, especially when you're newer to this. I think smaller sections are going to be easier to manage. But for me, I like to just kind of start at like the top of my ears, and I just section across horizontally, and then this is going to be my first section. My hair's on the finer side, so I can take sort of thicker sections. With your blow dryer, you're going to want to use the highest speed and the highest heat, depending on what blow dryer you have and what your settings are. Just put it on high. So what we're going to do, before I turn this on, I'm just going to demonstrate. I'm going to grab a section of hair, and I'm going to place my round brush on top at the root, and I'm going to really push it into the hair so that it gets a nice tight grip. And then I'm going to wrap so that hair is wrapping around the round brush. And the key with this is you just want a lot of tension. If the hair is loose, it's going to blow all over the place and you're going to get frizz. Keeping it nice and tight with a lot of tension and always pointing the air with the direction of the hair is going to get it nice and smooth. My brush is wrapped around the hair. I'm going to hold my blow dryer so that the concentrator is lined up with that section and with the brush. And I'm going to point down towards the ground because we want the hair and everything to go nice and smooth. I don't want to be pointing up like this because that's going to push the hair up in the opposite direction and it's going to get all frizzy. So we're going to be pointing down like this and then gradually working down that piece of hair. You don't want to hold the heat in one spot for too long because you can damage your hair. So you want to keep it moving, but make sure that you are getting it nice and dry. But this is why letting it air dry or rough drying it first helps a lot. So I'm going to turn this on and do this first section. You see how even though I'm working down towards the bottom of that piece of hair, I have so much tension that as I'm pointing the heat, this hair isn't like blowing all over the place. It's staying nice and tight and secure. And you also might have noticed I keep like rotating the brush around. That's just keeping it moving, making sure that it's staying tight in that section of hair. Now I'm gonna go back the opposite way. Now I'm gonna go this way, and I'm gonna keep doing the same thing. I like to go with my brush around both sides of the hair. I like to go from up top and then underneath as well. That way I'm making sure that I am fully saturating that section of hair with heat from all directions. That way I'm making sure that I'm smoothing it out completely from all sides, and that I'm definitely getting it 100% dry. If your hair is not 100% dry, it's going to end up getting frizzy a few minutes after you finish the blowout. So there we go. That piece is now finished. And if you have longer hair, when I get to the top, I'll show you how you can like get a nice curl and like flip it out. It's hard to do because this hair down here is so short. I'm gonna repeat this exact same thing around the rest of this section. And for the thickness of my hair, I would say each section, I'm gonna probably be doing like 3 to 4 separate pieces. Now that bottom section is fully dry, so now I'm gonna section off at my temples, and I'm gonna do the exact same thing with this section. So you might notice, even when I'm coming at it from all these different weird angles, I am always making sure to position my blow dryer and the air with the direction of my hair, with the direction of the brush, so that it's all just one seamless motion. I think that's just one of those things that it is probably going to be awkward the first few times you're doing it, but as you keep practicing, it'll just feel like second nature and you won't even have to think about it. Oh, another thing that I forgot to mention, as far as like positioning and what hand you want to hold your brush versus your blow dryer in is really all up to you. I just feel like I have more control if I hold my blow dryer in my dominant hand, but I think for most people, I've noticed, do the opposite. So just try out both and just see what feels more comfortable to you. But there's no right or wrong with that. It really doesn't matter. Just whatever you feel gives you the most control. So make sure before you move on to the next section that that section feels completely smooth and completely dry. I'll usually like just give it kind of a second, because when it's still super hot, it can be a little hard to tell if it's really dry or not. Once it's cool, then you'll be able to tell. If it feels cold to the touch, then there's probably still some moisture in there. We got to the top now. So now what I like to do is take a mohawk section. So starting from like the middle of my eyebrows, I just come back. So this is gonna be my last section. So I'm gonna clip that out of the way. And now I'm going to be working with this. And this is the part where I will really start over directing to create that volume. So What I mean by over directing is pulling the hair in the opposite direction. So our hair obviously just wants to go straight down. So I want to use my brush, really get in there at the root, and then I want to pull it up and away from the direction where it wants to fall. It wants to naturally fall this way. That's going to be super flat. So we want to lift up in the opposite direction, and then that is what's going to create the volume. So I like to just kind of do the section sort of normally first, get it as dry as possible, and then once the moisture is out and it's nice and smooth, then I'll really start over directing it. Now I'm going to start over directing. And then I like to give the hair a little bit of flip. So I'm going to take the brush on top of the hair, twist it this way so it's going away from my face, and then I'm going to bring it down towards the end and then keep twirling it and just twisting it, constantly pointing the blow dryer at my round brush. And that's what's going to give it that really pretty curl and flip on the ends. And this piece in the back, it wants to naturally just go back that way. So that's why I'm pulling it forward towards the front to create over direction. This section is done. Now moving on to our final section. This one I like to split into horizontal sections, and I'll usually do like about 3 of those. So starting from the back, because it's easier to end with the front. And all of these sections I'm going to pull forward, because again, over direction. The hair naturally is going to always want to fall down and back, so we want to over direct up and forward. And then I'm going to wrap it all the way up. Whew, my shoulders are getting tired. This part is optional. I'm going to be honest, I don't always do this. But if you really want your blowout to last and hold, once it's wrapped up in the brush like this, you can turn on your cool shot and set it with cold air. Then pull it out and flip it back. But do you see how much volume that creates by over directing it? So I'm going to do the same thing again. This I'm going to split into 2. And there you go. Look at all of that volume. And what's nice about sectioning that top piece in a mohawk section is that then you can part your hair wherever you want and it'll still have volume no matter where you put it. And then you can do a little bit of some type of like setting spray. I'm going to use the Kenra Dry Oil Conditioning Mist. Just a little bit. I mean, my hair already looks nice and shiny and sleek, but this will just kind of add even more shine and help with any little flyaways. That is it. And like I said, it can be a little bit awkward and tricky the first few times you do it, but just keep practicing and remember the tips that I shared and you will get it eventually. It's not that complicated. It's just one of those things, like once you figure it out and you get in a groove and you find what feels comfortable, then it'll just be super easy, and it's just kind of like muscle memory. So I hope that you guys enjoyed this video and that you found it helpful. If you did, please give it a thumbs up. It really helps my channel out a lot with the algorithm and all that. If it helped you, I'd love for it to help others as well. And make sure you're subscribed to my channel if you aren't already. I post hair tutorials like this and vlogs every single week, and all of December leading up to Christmas I'm actually posting every single day. So I'd love to have you join my YouTube fam, and hopefully I'll see you really soon in my next video. Bye.